Hey, it's Chris. I just got done watching Apple's far out iPhone 14 event, and I just want to share with you the 10 features, not products, but features from those products that I found most exciting. We're gonna work our way from the least exciting to the most exciting. And I have to say, I've already pre-ordered my Apple Watch Ultra. Like you, I don't plan on climbing Everest anytime soon, but did you catch in there? They were like, this is for adventurers and those who aspire to also do these things. But it's not really about that, is it? It's just the most expensive, best Apple Watch. It's different and it has crazy battery life. Am I right? That's mostly why people are gonna order it. Okay, so we got a new iPhone 14, got a new iPhone 14 Pro, got new AirPods Pros. These are the V2. We also got a brand new Apple Watch Series 8 and this new Apple Watch Ultra. So out of all these new products, the feature that slots in at number 10 for me in my top 10 is the new crash detection that's coming to the Series 8 Apple Watch, and it's also gonna be available for the new iPhones, which basically detects if you're in a severe car crash. They threw in that word severe there, so I'm not sure what counts as severe or not. But if you're in a severe car crash, this is going to be an easier way to contact emergency services. Like I said, that was an unexpected feature. That's why I'm including it here. You know, it's not something you're gonna be using every day, just kind of a nice to have. But let's get to our number 9. Coming in at number 9 for me is the new always on lock screen. Android people are gonna be like, give me a break. We've had an always on screen for the longest time. Even so, for people in the Apple ecosystem, this is new, this is exciting, and it's very usable. We have the widgets, which you're always gonna be able to see now, your information at a glance, which is never gonna be hidden. Of course, it's smart, so if your iPhone is facing down or it's in your pocket, then it goes off. It goes dark to save on the battery life. That was always the reason why this wasn't here in the first place, was the battery life. Gotta optimize. You don't wanna suck all the battery off just to have the screen always on, right? But I want you to notice, whenever Apple says even, then that means they're gonna tell you something that you don't wanna hear. Even with so many new capabilities, it still has all day battery life. Whenever you're watching an Apple event and you hear the word even, then you can know it's Apple trying to spin something. So you're like, oh yeah, even with all that, it still has this. For instance, with the new iPhone 14 Pros, I was just sure they were gonna have better battery life, but I heard the word even, it was the key word, and I knew, oh, that's it. It's not going to have better battery life. Even with all these new features, same old battery life, right? Watch out for that even. The new low power mode that you've got on the new Apple Watch Series 8, not even the Ultra. So with the Series 8 now, you're gonna get 18 hours of battery life. That's the rating. It's gonna be give or take depending on how you use it. But low power mode comes to the Apple Watch now. The reason that it's interesting is it turns off some of the features that you may not need all the time. Things like automatic workout detection, which is a nice to have, but not a must have. So all your nice to haves get turned off and tweaked and tuned by Apple, while the must haves stay there. But I really like this, especially if I'm going on a trip or something and I don't want to bring the charger. I can just get through with just this one charge. That's gonna be pretty cool. At number 6 here on my list, we're back to the AirPods Pro, and I promise we're gonna get to the iPhones and some other stuff in a second, but we're working up towards what's gonna get me most excited very shortly. The case for the AirPods Pro has gotten some tweaks here, and it looks very similar, doesn't it? We have a lanyard loop. That's not making my list, but it's interesting. What does make my list is the new built-in speaker. It's there to play a sound to help you locate it if you misplace it, if you lose it. Before, if you lost your AirPods, they would play a sound and that would be somewhat helpful. But now the case has the speaker so it can play a sound when it's lost, which, let's face it, everyone who owns some AirPods Pro, you're gonna lose them at some point. It just happens. We're gonna stick with the AirPods Pro here for number 6 on my list, which is better noise cancellation. We have this new H2 chip. It's got computational algorithms. And when you combine that with some of the other interior components that have changed, even though the outside looks very similar, supposedly we're gonna get up to 2 times better noise cancellation. Now, this is actually a big deal because if you're getting the Pros in the first place, chances are you're after this active noise cancellation. That's one of the main draws here. And I gotta be honest, the first generation, the ANC wasn't all that great. It was okay, it was better than nothing, but it didn't blow my mind, right? There's some beats that I've been recommending over those first gen AirPods Pro for a long time. And I think it was the Beats Fit Pro. That active noise cancellation combined with better just passive cancellation because it fit in your head better, the isolation. That was a better experience, far superior. Now there's been some engineering changes. Some of the components have been moved around, and that combined with the new algorithms here, it's all combining to tighten up your ANC experience. If this really does end up being 2 times better than the previous Pros, or even just somewhat better, it's gonna be a huge win. These are the Pros. They should be much better in the sound department, and it looks like they will be. Also, I should let you know that we have some wallpapers, right? The Daily Tech wallpaper packs. Whether you're getting a new iPhone or not, this round, you can make your iPhone look and feel new with the Daily Tech wallpaper pack. I'll link that up in the description. Also, I'm working on a productivity course. It's gonna be out in the next 2 to 3 months. If you wanna get notified when that's out and you wanna get more done with less burnout in the Apple ecosystem, that's what this course is gonna be about. You can sign up for notifications down in the description as well. All right, we're getting to the iPhones now, and my 5th most interesting, most exciting new feature is the new 2x optical quality telephoto. All right, so the iPhone 14 Pro has 3 cameras on the back, right? It's got your ultra wide, it's got your main camera, and then it's got a telephoto. Well, slotting in between that main and that telephoto there's like a ghost telephoto. This has to do with Apple's new 48 megapixel sensor. It's sort of like a virtual extra camera in between your main image and your telephoto, giving you a 2 times zoom. Obviously, the benefit here is that you're gonna be able to frame things up a little bit differently without having to move with your actual feet forward or further away. I am excited about this. I'm very excited about it. It's great. Options are good. This new sensor is amazing. The new pixel configuration, also cool. But I really do wish that we had some kind of a periscopic zoom on the Pro by this point. It sounds like that might be coming next year. It's really about time. This extra virtual thing here, it doesn't matter that much compared to what Android's doing. In this optical zoom area, the iPhone seems really behind what the flagships on some other phones can do. I'm just gonna say that. Still, it's very exciting because I use the cameras all the time. This is something that's actually useful that I'll probably end up using quite a bit. That's why it's number 5 on my list. All right, now we're really starting to get into the good stuff, right? Number 4 here is a feature that's coming to the new Apple Watch Ultra. And while the Ultra does have some changes to the case, some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. I mean, look at it, it looks a little funky. The biggest change is this new programmable action button. This thing sounds awesome depending on how limited Apple makes it, but basically it's gonna give you quick access and physical control over a variety of functions, and you can program it. You can tell it what you want that button to do, which is cool. Now, here's why I say it depends on how much control Apple gives you over this button, right? Can you set it to do anything? My gut feeling says probably not, which would be really unfortunate because a ton of people would just upgrade for this, just for the battery and just for this programmable button, right? But we'll see. Either way, whether I can really customize it to do whatever I want or whether it's for some very specific things that I can customize it for, it's still really cool. And so actually when I ordered this, I ordered one of all the different kinds of bands and stuff to check out with it. So if you're one of the people that, like me, is not a huge adventurer, but you aspire to these things. Actually, that's not why I ordered it. I don't aspire to climb Everest or dive into the Marianas Trench. Not that this would go that far anyways. I just want to test it out for non-adventurers. So if you want to check that out along with me, make sure you get subscribed. All right, top 3. What are the top 3 new features from today's event? My number 3 is the new action mode. Basically, this is some stabilization that you can turn on for the camera that for casual video shooters is just gonna make your footage more stable, right? Without having to think about it. For more advanced camera shooters, right, you're gonna be able to use action mode instead of perhaps a gimbal. A gimbal is something that's like extra hardware that holds your iPhone and mechanically keeps it stable. This is digital stabilization. If it looks anything remotely like it looked in the demonstrations here, then I think it's gonna be amazing. You know, GoPros have had this for the longest time, and it's about time that the iPhone had a really good video stabilization mode. So really excited about this. We're going back to the Apple Watch Ultra for the number 2 slot here to talk about the battery life. This is super exciting. You can get 36 hours of normal use with the Apple Watch Ultra, or you can go up to 60 hours, a ridiculous 60 hours with a new low power mode, which isn't out yet. It's coming soon. That's all the website says. Now, people have complained about Apple Watch battery for a long time. They don't like having to charge it every single day, especially people who get really into things like sleep tracking, right? And just like iPhones, there are Apple Watch power users out there. If you're doing a lot of exercise, for instance, then you're using up the battery more than a normal person would just sitting at the desk. Okay, the iPhone 14 Pro took my #1 spot with one of its new features. It's called Dynamic Island. Only Apple would do something like this. It's been rumored for a long time that Apple was getting rid of the notch, potentially, and was gonna have this either pill or hole punch or combination design that replaced the notch. We see a pill here at the top of the screen when we look, that black bar. It's hiding the camera and some of the sensors, but there are other smartphone makers out there who have gotten rid of all of that stuff. They put it all under the screen so that it's just invisible. But Apple's like, no, we're not quite there yet for whatever reason, and we're gonna have this, let's turn it into something. And instead of people just saying like, oh, it's got this pill thing, now they've turned it into this dynamic island where it does stuff, and it really blurs the line between what is the hardware, what is the software. They gave this pill a reason to exist outside of just the hardware. And actually, when I first saw it, I was like, no, what are they doing? This is really not gonna be cool. But by the time they were done explaining what this dynamic island was all about, I was like, you know what? I think they pulled it off. I think this is gonna be really cool. And they saved it for just the iPhone 14 Pro, and I think it turned into one of the most interesting Pro experiences. So this dynamic island is going to make your iPhone experience feel very different. It's gonna bring lots of animations, it's gonna bring notifications, all without having to leave and switch between apps, which is huge, especially on the productivity front, right? Context switching can absolutely crush your productivity when you're in this gear, but then you have to switch over into this gear and then switch back or switch into a different gear just to find some information, right? Now, you don't have to be swiping around and getting into and out of apps. You can just have certain notifications and information appear there regardless of where you are and what you're doing in your phone. Personally, I think I'm gonna be kind of enamored with this dynamic island, this pill that comes to life, because it brings those dynamic notifications that you were gonna have just on your lock screen, which is already gonna be cool with iOS 16, but it brings that to the top of your iPhone screen. So now you can know where your Uber's at all times without having to get into Uber and without having to look at the lock screen even. I'll stop short of saying it's going to be amazing, but it's definitely gonna be interesting. And it's something that, as this physical design trickles down to cheaper iPhones over the years, is gonna migrate down the line with it. So those are my top 10 features from this event. I bet you have a whole different list of things that you got all excited about. So, and I couldn't fit everything on here. That's the nature of a top 10, but drop the comments down there and let me know what your favorite features were and what I missed out on or left off the list and why it deserves to be on the list. Again, don't forget to check out those Daily Tech wallpapers. I'm gonna have more coverage of this event in the coming days and weeks. And of course, I've got some pre-orders in already. Stuff is gonna be arriving for review sooner than later. So get yourself subscribed to check out all the unboxings and craziness, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.